Hey guys, welcome back to Dad's Garage. On today's video, I just wanted to go over the next thing that we're going to install on the RZR. We got some lighted whips for the back like everybody else because they look cool and they're fun to have, I guess. We found ours on Amazon. They were pretty reasonable priced. We'll talk about those in just a second. I know there's a bunch of videos out there on the internet about how to install these, and it's pretty kind of a simple process. There is a few things that are different, I think, with the Turbo R than there are just maybe with the XP1000s and a few other things. So kind of want to talk about that and show you what the differences are, so that when you go to do it yourself, you don't have to deal with the frustrations and confusion that I did. All right, these are the ones that we got. Like I said, we found them on Amazon. I think they're like $150 or so, which it seems to be reasonable for lighted whips. Get two of them, come with the flags. These are standard spacing, so any flag you want to get, you can put on there. They are quick release, so you can put them down. You have to come in the garage or whatever. They come with these little quick release things that you mount on there, and then 19 millimeter, 27 millimeter. I'm sure they're different with every one of them, so no need to worry about that. They did come with watertight connectors down here. I don't know if you can see that. And then they came with the wiring that connects these to the RZR. I've already got that installed because, like I said, that part is going to be pretty standard for whatever you're working with, and you got to choose how to route it wherever you want to route it. So I'll show you where I routed mine and how I went about that. If you saw in the previous video, that's how I did the wiring, and I'll show you how that connects to the RZR. It's not very exciting, but I'll show you how that works. Um, let's get to it. It should be pretty easy. All right, so I got you brought in just about as close I think I can get you without me blocking the shot, trying to show you what I'm doing. These holes up here were not nearly big enough, so I reamed them out to 1.25 inches, and then I drilled some holes right here for this wire to come through, so that way I can easily disconnect it. There wasn't really enough room here or enough room here to get the wiring to come in, so this seemed like the best place to drill a little hole there and catch that. And then down here, about 1.5 inches or so is the actual plate it mounts to. Because of the way the quick disconnect works, if I put this in here, I'm not going to be able to disconnect it. So I got some 1/2 inch flat fender washers that we're going to put in between there. There's plenty of threads on this to make that work. So we'll just fish these up in here, and then we'll mount this down through the washer so it sticks up a little bit more, and capture the nut and the lock washer on the bottom there. There's just barely enough room in there for a human hand, so my big old monkey paws aren't working for me. And then in theory, that will not fit down there, so we'll have to revisit that and how to tighten that up. I'm gonna have to take some more plastic off, I guess. Thought I could get that socket down in there, but there is no way that's gonna work. All right, we regrouped. I took out a couple more of those trim clips, these guys here, that hold the plastic trim on here. So now we got this lifted up with a screwdriver over here so that we can get in there and hopefully get that tightened up. Got a crescent wrench now, so we can go up underneath and get on that. Let's see how big it actually needs to be here with this other one. All right. So we can get that in there. All right. And then we'll go underneath with the other wrench. That's just about going to do it. However, can't get it tight enough because that's recessed down there. So we're going to have a socket to get up underneath the bottom somehow. So we'll go see if we can wrangle that up. All right, attempt number 3. Get the crescent wrench back in there. All right. It's almost like we knew what we were doing, but the exact opposite. All right, so I'll get the other one done, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how everything goes together, and then I'll give you a tour of how I did the wiring. All right, we got the second side done. Much easier than the first side because I knew how to do it now. So I got that done. Like I said, these things down on here are super simple. We'll grab one real quick. And then they just snap right down on there. Plastic needs to be put back where it goes, but that's how that goes. And then these are just quick connect fasters. They only go in the one way, which is apparently none of the ways that I'm trying. And that can go out of the way. Nice and clean. Once we get all the screws and everything back in there, this should be centered up a little better. Yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Good. All right, so here's kind of what I did. That connector I made on the last video, you can see they plug in right down here. This is the Polaris bus bar. Each one of those round things down there or oval things is a potential place to plug something in and have it pre-wired. It's got a constant hot right to the battery. It is fused by 40 amps, so it should be a great way to do it. And I just ran the wire down underneath the dash and connected to the factory kind of built-in switch panel here. This light is constantly on, but it pulls very little draw, so it's never going to hurt your battery if it always stays on. And I just kind of ran everything down underneath here. It's probably kind of hard to see, but it's the other thing that's not dirty, so I got it all zip tied in as good as I can, down along the seat there, and then around back here, just along there, and then up back across the tube here. This is the factory fuse that, or the fuse that came with the lighted whips. Kind of tied that up as best I can, and then ran one down each side of the chassis on the back side. See if I can get you a shot of that. And then it just runs right up here, zip tied up to the frame, and then around the frame here, and then up back into the body where we were at. It's a lot of work to get everything taken apart inside. There's really no instruction manual I could find. Had to take backs of the seats out, a bunch of trim out, the whole center console. There's just not a lot of information out there about the Turbo R and how to take things apart. So it took me a good amount of time to get everything taken apart, and it's probably going to take me that long to put it back together. If you have one of the older models like the XP1000s or even that stuff before that, there's tons of videos out there on how to take them apart. So I watched a bunch of those, read some things in the instruction manual, which wasn't really helpful on how to take it apart. You kind of just have to keep loosening things and figuring out the way it goes. It was a lot of work. I'd say it probably took me 2-ish hours just to get everything apart. I know how to do it now, so I could probably do it in less, but if you've never taken the dash apart and the center console and everything out, it's quite difficult. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything put back together, and then we'll circle back around and I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, guys, that's a wrap on that project. I thought it was going to be a whole lot easier than it really was, but that's quite the undertaking to get everything apart and then figure out how to do the wiring. When you don't do this kind of thing all the time, it definitely just takes a lot of looking at it and figuring it out and trial and error. But it certainly was fun. I learned a lot trying to get everything apart. So pretty confident that if I have to take that stuff apart again or wire anything down the middle or through the back or anything like that, I think it'll go pretty quickly. It turned out really good. I will shut the lights off here in a minute and show you what it looks like. But again, don't be afraid to try things. You can't really hurt it. It's all plastic. You're not really going to break anything. The worst thing that can happen is you lose a nut or a bolt or a screw or something. And they're all super cheap, easy to come by. As you can see there, they're pretty bright. They light up the whole garage in this pretty awesome blue color. They do have several colors and lots of different modes to where they dance around and whatnot. I kind of like the blue. It kind of goes with the Razor. We're pretty happy with it. Like I said, the important part with these projects is just to have fun. Um, make your toy your own. It's what you got to live with and have a good time with, and personalize it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I always appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Um, I heard this silly thing the other day, and I thought I'd share it with you. This panda walks into a bar, and he says, "Hey, bartender, can I get a rum and Coke?" And then bartender said, "Sure, but what's with the big paws?" And the panda says, "I don't know. I've always had them." Take care.